Hey everybody, it's Russ from CrafterCMS, and today we're going to be talking about the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. Specifically, we're going to be talking about an MCP client. Now, for those of you who are new to the space, a MCP client allows us to create AI-enabled digital experiences, typically some form of chatbot, but there are other modalities as well. And that chatbot can, of course, help us navigate our content and have conversations with us. But oftentimes we want it to be able to go further, to take actions. A great example, and an example that we'll look at today, is something like helping us understand what availability there is for certain flights, or help us book a flight, and so on. And to get an LLM or an AI backend to do that, we need to provide it with tools that help it integrate with those backends. And the standards-based way of doing that today is through MCP servers, or Model Context Protocol servers and clients. So what we're going to be looking at today is the client side of things here. You can see we have a very simple CrafterCMS project. This is the Hello World blueprint. And what we're going to do is we're going to install a chat client and connect it to an external MCP server and just explore that starting point. In a follow-up video, we'll show how we can run an MCP server on Crafter and expose Crafter-based capabilities as tools which can be used with these chat and other AI-enabled digital experiences. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do once we have our project is we're going to go to the project tools and then to plugin management, and then we'll go to search and install. You can see we have no plugins currently. And here right at the top, we see MCP client and MCP server. So for now, we are interested in the MCP client. So before we get started with the install, I'm going to go ahead and click more. And you can see we get some basic information here. And I'm going to go ahead and click on this plugin here. This will take me to the project. All of this here is an open source plugin, and so you have the code is available to you. And what this is essentially a MCP enabled chat client, currently configured to work with OpenAI, but can be configured to work with other AI backends as well. And it will create a very simple chat client for you, as we see here in the image, and that will enable us to then work with tools. Okay, we have a little bit more of a description here about what MCP enables, and down here we have some configurations. So it says that we basically need a valid OpenAI key, which we're going to make available to the system through an environment variable. And then there's going to be some default configuration that we're going to use. You'll see here we're going to make a couple changes to the defaults, and then we'll have to install this one line of code in our templates. That's all there is to the installation. So now jumping back to our project, I'm going to say install. And here you can see there's configuration for the model ID. So again, it's OpenAI, so I'm just going to choose a 04 model. There's a prompt for a system prompt. In this case, I'm going to specialize that a little bit and say you're a helpful travel agent / assistant. Okay, and then we need to set up a MCP server URL. Now, by default, you can see here that it's going to use a local Crafter MCP server. You can see that grayed out value there. What we're going to do is we're going to set it to this MCP server out on the net, which I'm going to get into in just a second. So I'm going to go ahead here and say install. Okay. And now that that's installed, we can see it here installed in our plugins. And if I want to look at those values again, I can click on the configuration, and here this is. So if I need to make any changes, I can easily change that. All right, now, as I mentioned, we have an MCP server out on the internet because I want to make this video really just about the client. So if I go here, you can see that there's a service called Fast MCP, and that's a cloud service, and you can create very basic MCP capabilities using Python and create a service. And so that's what I've done here. And the way that it works is that you create Python scripts. So for example, you can see I've created a tool called Book Flight. It takes a flight number and a seat. Okay, and then if If the flight is specifically UA313, then that seat is available. Doesn't matter what seat you pick. If you pick that flight, that seat is available. Otherwise, it's not. Now, obviously, this is a very toy-style implementation. Here is where we would go out and check real back ends, but this gives us the joint point between our service and the LLM. Okay, so that's going to be this basic logic in there now. There's also flight availability, which works a similar way. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the LLM, and we're just going to click on the inspector and click on tools, and here I'm going to choose book flight. Okay, we're just going to test that tool. So now there's no client involved here. We're testing directly from this inspector tool, which is part of, in this case, part of the server here, and we're going to say that we want to be in seat 7A, and we want to be on flight, let's say American Airlines 313. Okay, if I execute that tool, then you'll see that the response comes back and it says that it is not available. All right. If I change it from American Airlines to United Airlines and run it, then you can see I get my booking. Okay, so the tool works. Now what we have to do is we have to get our chat client installed into our project and talking to that MCP server. So we've already configured the client to look at the server. We've given the client a system prompt, which gives it some boundaries. Here, in addition to sort of talking about its demeanor, I could further constrain what information it can really access within OpenAI, but I just kept the prompt very simple here, and I could change the model if I want. But for our purposes, I'm happy with all of these basic configurations. And so now what we need to do is we need to update our template to show our chat client, because we have an out-of-the-box component that'll give us a chat client, and we don't have to do any coding. To get that, we're going to scroll down here, and we're just going to pick up this simple include statement. We're going to go back to our project. We're going to edit the template, and I'm going to go ahead right under the content. I'm just going to go ahead and insert our template, include, and now you can see we have a chat client. And so let's start off with hello. Let's see if we can connect. Hello, how can I assist you today? Great. Let's see if we can book a flight, and this time we'll try to book 7A, and we'll leave the airline designation off. And you can see it says, I'm sorry, but 7A on flight 313 is not available. Right, now let's go ahead and try again. And we'll put United Airlines. And as you saw in the code, it doesn't matter. We could choose 10A or any other seat. It doesn't matter. It's only looking at the airline. But we expect this booking to complete. Here it says your seat has been successfully booked. So that's great. And that's all there is to it. If you want to take this even further, it's very easy to update the user experience. It's also easy to augment the server-side capabilities. This is all based on CrafterCMS's Groovy-based scripting capabilities and our Spring and Spring AI-based integrations. So the sky's the limit here with the different types of AI backends that you can create. You can mix and match this with RAG capabilities, memory capabilities, and really create very powerful AI-enabled digital experiences. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you do. With that, happy crafting.